All right, guys, welcome. Been a minute since I've posted a longer training video. Been doing lots of deals, so I haven't posted much content. Apologize, but I wanted to get this training out to you. There are a few things that happened today that caused me to make this. I hope it's helpful for you. Okay, so what I'm going to share with you in this video is 3 things that are killing your ability to make money with surplus funds and overages. Okay, these 3 mistakes are what destroy people's profits, destroy people's deals, cause frustration, cause you to lose time, cause you to waste time by making these mistakes, and ultimately cause you to lose deals. Or sometimes you get a deal in the pipeline, but then it dies later on. So sometimes you actually lose money. And I'll show you some live examples of how I've lost money committing these mistakes. So this is a very important video. I hope you find some value in it. So let's go ahead and get started. These are the 3 mistakes we're going to talk about. Okay. These are the things that will kill your deals, cause frustration, cause loss of time, loss of money. And if you commit enough of these, you're ultimately going to quit the business and say, this business doesn't work. I couldn't make money. It didn't work for me. And then you're going to quit. And you're never going to actually see the success that you set out to achieve when you started this business. Okay. So what are the 3 mistakes? Let's dive in right now. Mistake number 1 is not knowing how to handle cases where the prior owner is deceased. Okay. This is a big one and it's very common. Okay. And a lot of people out there, they don't teach you this. They don't even mention it. Because, I don't know why. They should, but they don't. Some people know about it and they'll tell you about it, but they don't actually do these types of deals. Okay. This is kind of a niche within surplus funds and overages, meaning being able to handle cases where the homeowner is deceased is a niche in and of itself. I could create a whole course and program just on how to do deals where the former owner has passed away. And you will see a lot of these. Why will you see a lot of them? Well, there's 3 main causes of foreclosure or tax sale. Okay. There is a disaster. That's like a medical emergency or family emergency, loss of a job, where somebody gets behind on their payments, they lose a home. Okay. That's number 1. They're the 3 Ds: disaster, divorce. Okay. Divorce is a major cause of losing property to tax sale or foreclosure. And the 3rd D is death. Okay. People die. We all die. And some people, when they die, they don't have their affairs in order. They don't have a will, or sometimes they do have a will, but that will never gets probated or it gets lost. There's a whole host of issues there. Okay. And because death is one of the 3 major causes of foreclosure, a lot of your tax overage deals and surplus funds deals are going to be dealing with where you can't collect for the homeowner because they're dead, but you can still collect the overage on behalf of the heirs. But there's a couple things that you need to know in order to move forward with those types of cases. We'll talk more about that in a minute. The second mistake, okay? The second mistake is not contacting the right person, okay? Or assuming that you have the right the claimant. Okay, a lot of people will reach out to the person, and that person will say, "Oh yeah, I'm entitled to that money," and they take their word for it and they sign that person up, only to find out later that person was not the actual client. They had no legal right to the surplus. Okay, that's mistake number 2. Mistake number 3 is assuming the opening bid is the total debt owed on a property, that the opening bid includes everything that's owed on that property. That's the 3rd killer. Okay. So I skipped ahead. We talked about the problems. What are the solutions then? Okay, so again, going back to the 3 mistakes, how do we avoid these mistakes? Okay, so mistake number 1, not knowing how to handle cases where the homeowner is deceased. The solution to this is you need to understand these 2 things, these 2 phrases. Okay, Probate and intestate succession. What are those? I would recommend that you Google them, but I'll do my best to define them. Probate is simply the process of validating a will. Okay? When somebody dies and they have a will, that will needs to go through probate. It needs to be validated by a court. That is the definition of probate, the validation of a will. Intestate succession. What is this? When somebody dies without a will, obviously, if there's no will, there's nothing to probate. So every state has what are called intestate succession laws. And these are laws that say, okay, if somebody dies without a will, here is how somebody's assets are going to be distributed. Okay? Very important. So when you come across a case where the person has died, you need to ask yourself a couple questions, or the primary question, which is, did they have a will? Did they or did they not have a will? Because the answer to that question is going to determine who you sign up. Okay? So you need to understand probate and intestate succession and how they work. Problem number 2, not contacting the right client. Okay? What's the solution to this? Confirm ownership. Okay? Confirm who was the last deed holder prior to the auction. Okay? Using public records. Nice. That's good. So confirm who is on title, confirm who is on the deed, and who is on the mortgage. This is also important for mortgage overages, okay? Because they could be 2 different people. It's all a matter of public record, though, okay? So that's how you solve problem number 2. Confirm ownership. Check title is what we call it. If you don't know how to do that, well, learn the process from someone who knows how. Problem number 3, assuming the opening bid is the total debt owed. What you need to do is confirm all of the debt against the property, again, by using public records. Okay. So these are the biggest problems that kill deals. Here are some examples highlighting each problem. These are these first 2 examples are my own cases where I screwed up, made the mistake, and the result of that. Okay, so this is a property right here. This is a cool townhome. So story time. This home went to foreclosure. This was a mortgage overage, a MO. Generated about $77,000 in surplus funds. The homeowner had passed away. There were 5 heirs. Okay. We were able to find and sign up 4 of the 5 heirs and submitted a claim on their behalf, only to find out that probate had been done for the homeowner and a personal representative, that's a person who's in charge of someone's estate, had been appointed. Now, that personal representative was not a relative of the deceased homeowner. It was an attorney that just filed the probate and got approved, got appointed personal representative. So what ended up happening is, because of the way my agreement was set up, the personal representative's fees, which amounted to about $12,000, had to come out of my portion. So, and it was a whole mess. I had basically, long story short, I netted about $3,000 on that deal when I should have netted about $9,000. Okay. And it is because I did not check to see if a probate had been done before signing up the heirs. I assumed that no probate had been done, signed up the heirs thinking that they were entitled, which they were entitled. But here's the thing. If a personal representative is appointed over a deceased person's estate, you got to go through that person. Otherwise, you're going to have to divvy up the pot even more. Okay. And that's where the mistake happened in that case, is I didn't check to see if there was a probate. And I paid for it by not making as much money on that deal. Okay. So there's a real life example of how I screwed up And it's because I didn't understand probate and intestate succession. Okay. So there's a nice example for you. Here's another example. This highlights mistake number 2, not signing up the right person. Okay. Not confirming who the proper claimant is. Not checking to see who the last recorded owner was. Okay. Surprisingly enough, this was also an estate deal. So this property had about a little less than $30K, I believe, in surplus funds. The homeowner had passed away. They didn't have a spouse when they died, and they didn't have any children. They had one living sibling. So I was like, okay, this is an easy one. Super easy. I'll sign up the brother. He's the only heir, right? Of course, he's entitled to the surplus. Got him signed up, filed the claim with my attorney. Attorney calls me and says, hey, somebody else filed a claim. We got a hearing on such and such date. I was like, oh, okay. Well, let me know how the hearing goes. Hearing comes. Attorney calls me and says, did you check to see who the owner of this property was before you sent it over to me? And I was like, well, all I know is that the owner died. And my attorney's like, well, the owner, before he died, deeded the property over to one of his stepchildren. And I was like, oh my goodness. So I didn't check title. I didn't confirm who the actual owner was before I went looking for the claimant. And because I didn't do that, I signed up the wrong person. I signed up the person that didn't even have a legal right to the surplus. And on this deal, obviously we made zero money because we didn't recover anything because our client wasn't legally entitled to anything. And number 2, I lost money because I still had to pay my attorney to go to court to the hearing. So I lost money on this deal. Okay. So, and that's another real life case example of one of my screw ups and how I actually lost money. Not only did I lose time, not only did I look like a fool because I contacted this guy saying, hey, you owed this money because your brother owned this house, but I lost money. Okay. Because I did not check to see who was the actual last recorded owner before the auction. Because here's the thing, guys. When mortgages get foreclosed on, the name on the records or on the foreclosure is going to be the name of the person on the debt that's being foreclosed on, not the deed. And this is a golden nugget, so pay attention. When dealing with property, there's 2 types of documents you need to look at. Okay, there is ownership documents, which are deeds, and then there's debt documents, which are going to be your mortgages or deeds of trust. And sometimes those things can change. Ownership can change on real estate without paying off the debt associated with it. Okay, so it's very important to check public records and see, okay, who was the last recorded owner and who was the person on the debt that was being foreclosed on. Okay? Very, very important. Okay, here's a mistake that came to me today. This was a potential partner deal that somebody sent to me. These were the numbers they gave me. Okay, opening bid was $103,345. It sold at auction last week for $177,500. Potential surplus of $74,000, right? Like if we subtract the opening bid from what it sold for, that's the number we come up with, right? So there should be a surplus here, right? Or that should be the amount. Wrong. That's not how much money is available. Okay. The opening bid does not include all of the debt associated with the property, especially in mortgage overages. Okay. With tax sales, the opening bid is 99% of the time the amount of delinquent taxes owed to the county, but you still need to check for mortgages, liens, like IRS liens, judgment liens, HOA liens, stuff like that. Opening bid does not include all of the debt on a property. Okay. I talk about this in my course. Now, here's the deal. What you're looking at on this page, and this is what's called a final judgment. Okay. This gives you all of the numbers. Okay. So I don't know if I have a highlighter on here. I don't think I do. No, I don't think I do. That's a shame. Okay. I'll just use my mouse. See my little arrow? All right. So we're going to read through this, okay? The balance due and owing on the note in the amount of $103,759.37 in unpaid principal. Okay, so $103,000 is the amount owed to the bank on the principal amount of the loan. Okay, but wait, there's more. Okay, if you continue to read through this court document, okay, you're going to see that there is also some interest from April 1st, 2020 to whenever. So there's unpaid interest in the amount of $10,000 plus $11.37 per day. Now, stick with me here. You got to know how to do a little bit of math in this business. Okay, you got to know how to subtract, add, and multiply. I'm not very good at math. The last math class I took in college, I think was called Math 1050. I got a D+, but I passed, and that's what matters. But I can add and subtract, and I can multiply. So here's the thing, guys. You need to be able to add this number or subtract this from the sales price, and you need to also determine how many days passed from this date to when the property actually sold. Okay. And actually what you want to do is go off of the date the judgment was entered. Okay. That's what I do. So this judgment was entered on November 22nd of 2022. Okay. The property sold on January 16th, 2024. Okay. So stay with me. So we need to determine how many days passed from when the judgment was entered to when the property actually sold. This is how I do this. How many days from the date of the judgment, November 22nd. How many days from November 22nd, 2022 to January 16th, 2024?
It's 420 days.
Okay, 420 days times $11.37 per day. That's an extra almost $5,000. Okay, so you need to subtract that from the sale price. Then you need to subtract this $9,000 in taxes and insurance, then this $2,800, then these attorney's fees for another $2,800 down here. So you need to subtract all those numbers, okay? And so the actual overage is not 74,000. It's closer to 40 once you add all that up. Okay. So now you're probably saying, well, there's still money there. Yes, there's still money here. But if you're working a lower overage amount, that extra interest that you're not accounting for can wipe out the deal completely. Okay. And this doesn't even take into account possible other mortgages or liens. Okay. We're just looking at the actual loan that got foreclosed on and all of the different fees and interests that you have to account for when you're doing these types of deals. Okay. So again, but here's the thing: mortgages, debt is all going to be in the recorder's office. Okay, that's where you can find it. Sometimes you can find stuff also in court records. Okay, so you got to be able to check these things. You got to be able to determine or at least estimate close to what the debt may have been at the time of the sale. Okay, very, very important. Because if you don't do that math, like let's say if this property had sold for less than what it had, and once you subtract all those extra fees, there may not actually be an overage there. And so a lot of people actually chase deals that look like an overage because they're only using the opening bid and they're assuming all of the debt is in the opening bid when that's not the case. And people are pursuing deals where there actually is no overage. And that is a waste of time. So you want to try to avoid that. And you do that by doing the math. Okay. Doing your due diligence. All right. All right. See a couple questions. If you have questions, type them in the chat. Depending where you're coming in from, I might not see your comments. So if you're on YouTube or Facebook, I can see your comments. If you're somewhere else, I can't see your questions. I apologize. That's just the technology I have. So does that make sense, guys? If you have questions, post them in your comments. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, I can see them. Guys, here's some ways that I can help you. Okay. You probably all know this. I do have a course that teaches you how to do all this stuff. I teach you how to verify debt, how to look for liens, okay, how to verify if there's actually an overage, how to create your own leads, how to talk to people, how to find attorneys, what paperwork to use. I teach you how to do this from A to Z so that you can do deals on your own. And if you need extra help, I offer partnering. That's in my basic course, okay? It's very expensive. It's one of the most expensive courses out there. However, it is the most affordable, as you can get started in it for about $100 a month, okay? However, caveat to that, you just can't get started in it today because the course is closed. But it'll open back up in February, FYI. So these are just ways that I can help you. Number one, my course. Number two, my gold program. Okay, what is that? That includes my basic course, but I also give you skip trace leads, provide you my company website, company email, so that you don't have to go out and start your own business. You can just piggyback off of mine so that you have instant credibility. All you have to do in the gold program is focus on contacting people. I handle the leads, I handle the paperwork, the attorneys, the claiming process. I handle everything for you so that the only thing you have to do is focus on contacting people. Okay. So that's my gold program. And then every week on Wednesdays, I do a coaching call. And if you have a deal that you need help with, I'm happy to walk through that deal with you. Okay. Whether you're a student or not, you can join that call. Okay. And bring a case, bring a situation, and say, I need help with this. I'll walk you through what I would do if I was in your shoes, and I'll do it with you live in person on the call. Okay. Really works for those that maybe you've gotten another course, you don't want to buy my course. Fine, not a problem. Maybe you're not getting the support you need. Maybe they didn't show you how to work deceased claimants. Okay. Maybe you're not sure if you did your research correctly or if you have the right person. If you want me to look at it, come to the Wednesday night call. Okay. If you want me to potentially partner on it with you and you're not a student, I need to see the deal first. Okay. So come to the call and bring the deal, bring the case. Let's go through it together. If it's a good deal and you want to partner on it, cool. Maybe we can do that. If it's a bad deal, then we'll save you all the hassle by bringing it to the call and saying, okay, here's where you went wrong. Here's what you can do to fix it. Okay. So that's every Wednesday night. Yeah. It's not free either. Okay. Which leads me to the final Final couple slides. Here's some things. How am I different from all these other people that teach this business? My niche is kind of in the mortgage surplus files. Other courses don't really teach mortgage overages. Some of them do, many of them don't. I also have become really good with deceased files, okay? Meaning doing deals where the homeowner's passed away. That's kind of my expertise. I do tax overages as well. However, the vast majority of my deals are mortgage overages, and we do a lot of estate cases, meaning we do a lot of cases where the homeowner has passed away. I do 50-50 split on my partner deals. It's the highest split that anyone ever offers. Some people don't even partner with you. And I'm actively doing this business today. So I'm in the trenches, still learning. This business is constantly changing. I don't just sell information and make all my money from courses. I do make money from courses, but I also make money from actually doing overage deals. So yeah, those are some ways that I'm different. And I'm probably just like you in the fact that I had to learn this from scratch many years ago, and I was able to figure it out and make it a full-time career. But I know what it's like to be broke. I've had $500 to my name before. I've been in that scenario. I know what it's like to work a 9-to-5 job that you hate. That's why I do this business, because I like doing this more than working at the prison, which is what I used to do. Okay. Started out working 12-hour graveyard shifts for $16 an hour. I didn't like that job. So what did I do? I went out and learned a skill that allowed me to leave that job and create my own income. Okay. And that happens to be overages. So probably very familiar. My dad, got 2 young kids. I know what it's like to struggle to not have a lot. And I know what it's like to go through that process of learning something new and starting something new and generating new skills to better your life. So if you resonate with that, there you go. Now, here are some reasons you might not want me to help you. I don't have any special degrees. I'm not an attorney. I don't have any rich parents. I come from middle-class America, or what used to be middle-class America. I don't live on an island anywhere. I don't have a big mansion. I don't have a cool car or watch to show you. There's nothing wrong with those things. I'm not hating on those. They're just of no interest to me. My voice is very monotone, so I'm very boring to listen to. So that's another reason you might not want me to help you. I still work. I still work this business, so I'm not retired or anything. I don't work for free. Okay. Don't do any charity. I donate to charity, but I don't, coach or work for free. My YouTube videos are my free help for. And overages and surplus funds is not my passion. I'm not super passionate about overages or surplus funds. I do it because I make a better income doing this than what I did working at the prison. Okay. So it is a skill and a job that I learned that allows me to work from home, set my own schedule, control my income, not have to drive rush hour traffic, report to a boss. That's why I do it. It's not because I'm super passionate about overages or surplus funds. I am grateful for them. I'm grateful for the opportunity and for the industry, but it's not my passion. My passion is traveling, hanging out with my family, collecting experiences, doing stuff that I like to do in my free time. So if you're looking for someone who's like, I love overages, surplus funds, that's probably not me. I love the opportunity that overages and surplus funds provides. Okay. And depending on your situation, I will actually probably tell you not to do this business. Okay. If you're broke, if you can't budget $100 to $200 a month for like marketing and skip tracing and gaining access to information, some counties, when you're doing your research, sometimes you have to pay for that stuff. So like you have to have a little bit of money to make this work for you. Okay. So if you can't allocate $100 to $200 a month, I actually wouldn't recommend that you do surplus funds or overages. or if you are looking to make money today, like you got bills that you need to pay tomorrow, overages is not a good business for you. It's a long, drawn out process. It can take several months before you get paid. It's not good. It's not a good fit for everyone. Okay. And so be aware of that. This may not, even just because there's an opportunity, it doesn't mean you need to take advantage of that opportunity. There's opportunity everywhere. Okay. Overages and surplus funds might not be the right opportunity for you at this point in your life, depending on your situation. Okay. So that's another thing. And if you don't want to hear that, then I'm probably not a good fit for you. So those are some reasons why you might not want to work with me. All right. Let's see here. Whoops. What just happened? Can you still see me? All right. See if there's any questions. Arnell, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Arnell is Arnell's a student of mine, but he's also an expert now in this business. I believe Arnell quit his job and started doing surplus funds full time. Actually, I know he did. So Jim, if you send it to the case manager, I'll check with them. Hopefully you send it to case manager at overagerefund.com. Okay, I see somebody, Facebook user. I got a question about that last one. Okay, what's the question? What's up, Gary? Liens can be confirmed through the courts. There should be some public records. Isn't this correct, Nick? Yes. Liens, debt, that should be found in the county recorder's office. Sometimes in the court records, depending on the state. But your go-to is going to be the recorder's office, okay? Hi, Christy. Luxury pick. Have you done overages in Connecticut? I have some pending cases in Connecticut right now. So to answer your question, I have some cases in progress. They have not paid out yet. So I can't say yet that I've successfully done overages in Connecticut. Check back with me in a couple months. Hopefully in a couple months, I'll be able to say, yes, I've successfully recovered overages in Connecticut. If you can only sign 4 or 5 claimants, deal still goes right, but 1/5 share held back. Yeah, so if there's no probate that's been done and you've got 5 heirs, you know, and you sign up 4 out of the 5, then you're going to get 4/5 of the overage. Basically how that works. Trying to get back into my course, still waiting on confirmation from April. Christy, if you haven't already, send an email to support@overagesyndicate.com. Course is relatively cheap compared to the info and other courses I've seen for 10K plus. Well, thank you, yes. How much is the gold program? Depends if you're an existing student or not. The price is actually going up next month. Right now, it's $6K for existing students and $75 for new, but the price is going to be going up next month for the gold program. It's going to be the end of this month, but I'm just going to extend it a couple weeks. What time is the coaching call? Oh, great question. The coaching call is 7:30 Mountain Standard Time. We record them all, so if you can't make it, you can check the replays. And that's on Wednesday nights. I'll post a link in the description of this video on YouTube, or you can just go to surpluscoach.com. It's via Zoom. And the coaching calls are $97 a month. Okay. And if you don't like coaching calls, I do consultations, but I don't recommend them. They're very expensive. Gold program cost, I think I just answered that question. It's 50-50 split. Used to be 60. Well, right now it's 60-40. It's going to, so there's two. Anyone familiar with the gold program? I'll post a video. If you want to learn more about the gold program, type in, well, let me just show you. So go to my YouTube channel and just type in 17 obstacles of overages. Okay, so this video right here, if you're interested to learn more about the gold program, go watch this one right here. Okay, this one right here. 17 obstacles you'll face in the overage and surplus funds business. Watch that on my YouTube channel. That'll give you the down low of the gold program. How can we go to get on the Wednesday night call? Go to this website, surpluscoach.com. Okay. Let's see if I log out here. Should look something like this. A little video explaining 97. Sign up right there. Then once you get in, then there's links. Go to events. So let's just do this real quick in case people have questions. Once you sign in, you're going to click on events, and then you're going to find today's date. Okay, so today is January 24th. So right here it says today, and you'll just click that icon that says Zoom meeting. Okay, and that's 7:30 p.m. That's Mountain Standard Time. And for some reason it's not, should look like this. I don't know why I didn't share my tab, but that's what it looks like inside. Okay, this is the website you go to join the weekly coaching calls. All right. Making calls right after this. Love it. Thank you, sir. Next course is comprehensive. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Make myself a KPI. Yes, KPIs. So KPIs, key performance indicators. What I would recommend for that is I would recommend the number of conversations you have with people. Okay. Not the number of dials. I mean, you can track how many calls you make, meaning dials, but I would differentiate dials from actual conversations. Okay. Because it's the conversations that lead to signed contracts and deals. So I would track that. Okay. You know, if you're brand new and like, if you're like me and like not a professional salesperson, which I am not, you're probably going to have to talk to about 10, 20 people, maybe more. So be conservative and say, okay, I got to talk to 20 people, 20 potential clients to get a deal, maybe two. Okay. And to get those 20 conversations, you might have to call 100 numbers, maybe 200 numbers. Okay. It's definitely is a number games in that regard. Okay. There are things you can do to help bring those numbers down, you know, sending texts, sending letters, postcards, so that you're hitting them at different angles. But track the conversations you have with people. Okay. That's a key indicator. And then after that, so conversations are going to lead to contracts that get sent. Okay. So that would be my next key performance indicator. Okay. How many contracts have we sent? And then your final one would be how many contracts have we got signed? Okay. So those are three KPIs that I'd recommend you measure: conversations, contract sent, contract signed. Okay. Hope that helps. How can I join Wednesday night group? I hope I've answered that. Go to surpluscoach.com. It's a really ugly page that looks like this. Okay. It's very simple. This video is probably pretty old. The audio's old. I should update that. But surpluscoach.com, guys. 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So that's late if you're on the East Coast. 6:30 if you're Pacific. Okay. Humble beast. Appreciate that. How to get the Zoom link? Go to surpluscoach.com. Do you use SalesPipe for skip tracing? Great question. So SalesPipe is interesting in the fact that, to answer your question, I don't use SalesPipe primarily for skip tracing. However, you can get phone numbers and emails for neighbors and stuff like that. And that's kind of cool. So you can use it for skip tracing. There's so many skip tracers out there, guys. Just Google skip trace software. None of them are 100% accurate. Okay. Let me give you a couple sites based off of maybe your budget and stuff. Okay. So truepeoplesearch.com is a free skip tracing software. It's not the best data, but it gives you quite a bit for a free resource. After that, you've got a lower tier, like $20 a month. You've got like Bin Verified, Bell's Link, stuff like that. Higher tier, like $100 a month, 150. You've got like skipgenie.com. What are some other ones? Probably IDI Core, Microbuilt. If you're doing little searches here and there, like if you're not doing a lot of volume, there's one called Endato, ENDATO. It's very expensive in the fact that it's $1 per search, but that it's nice because they give you not only the person you search, but also names and at least one phone number and one email and one mailing address for any associate or relative listed to the person you search. So you search for one person, but you get data on a bunch of other people. That's nice if you're doing, and there's no subscription for that. So that's cool. Batch skip tracers. If you've got a big list that you need a skip trace, you can use batchskiptracing.com. You can use directskip.com. Just Google batch skip tracing. That's if you've got a ton that you need to do at once. Okay. There's so many of them out there. And what I would do is sometimes what we'll do is we will cross-reference data, meaning we'll get lists skip traced in 2 different sources and then cross-reference them to try to get the maximum accurate data. Okay. Yes, Surplus Coach. The weekly calls are $97 a month. Okay, and you can cancel at any time. At the end of the register office documents where it says certificate of service, is that a list of liens that are on the property on a tax foreclosure? That's a great question, Christy. So a certificate of service is just where it's a list of individuals or companies or entities that are being served that paperwork, whatever preceded that certificate of service. All of those people on that list got a copy. Okay. And that you can use that as a red flag or as clues to potential lien holders. Okay. So if you see a bunch of people on a certificate of service, that's like a dead giveaway that you need to do additional research and confirm if the people on that list are lien holders or are not. Okay. So good question. Glenn, I'll try to find your email. I apologize for that. Yeah. Property. I have not heard of Property Reach. It's a new one. All right, cool. All right, guys. That's it for today. Hope that helps. Hope you found some value in that. I'll post this on YouTube. And yeah, that's it. So now what do? Well, do something or do nothing. You decide. That's all I have. So if you found value in this, you think someone else was find value in it, share it. And have a great day. Talk to you all later. If you have questions, comment down below, or when I post the replay, or shoot me an email, nick@overagesyndicate.com. We'll talk to y'all later. Thanks, guys.